Welcome to the Spice of Life podcast, where we take bold risks, build real wealth, and use money as a tool for freedom and legacy. I'm Luke Spicer, and each week we uncover the principles of ownership, independence, to business and life. Whether you're an investor, entrepreneur, or tradesperson, this show is about creating freedom today and legacy for tomorrow. Hey everybody, welcome to the Spicer Life podcast. I'm Luke Spicer, your host. Yeah, and today I got John Schuette on from Hollywood. Welcome, John.
What's going on, man? How you
Good,
doing?
man. Good. How are you? We just covered before we went live on the air. I always thought John was out east in Canada, which is hilarious because he's actually in Hollywood.
Which is like but out east in Canada. Yeah, so
Yeah, you're
out in Canada, there's lots of trees.
but you're closer to me though, so that's kind of nice. I could get down
Where
there.
are you located?
I'm in Alberta, Canada, right above
Okay.
Montana. Yeah.
Oh,
And
cool.
actually, we were talking about fighting. I was supposed to have a world title fight in Hollywood, in April
Yeah,
before the world shut down through that period that we're not going to talk about. No.
yeah, right.
So John, you're in the sales world.
Yeah.
You help salesmen and women get better, right? Tell me a little bit.
Mostly harm them, to be honest with you.
What?
Because most people say, "Oh, I help people." Da da da. No,
You harm them.
I hurt them. I hurt sales.
Yeah. Yeah, to try to get them to
But
be better. Well, like a gym trainer, basically, right? Like if everything
really,
you
yeah,
wouldn't need your help. They're sucking at something, so they need your help. But you take a very different approach, in my opinion, to sales and coaching sales trainers, which is why I wanted to have you on because I actually really resonate with what you want to do. You've launched your new Facebook page, Unethical Sales.
yeah. I haven't done anything with it yet, but I'm excited for that. That's gonna be really fun.
I tell me about that because you have a different page, right?
Yeah, yeah, I have ethical sales and unethical sales. Like it's not so bad as like, I don't know, forcing someone to buy something they know don't need, or like having a predatory loan or something like that. You actually used to sell products and with an entirely predatory loan. It was like 27% or whatever interest rate for like 10 years. And we would tell people like you should go get a loan from somewhere else when you can, because they would pay like 40 grand for a 20 grand thing. So I didn't fully understand the agreements back then, but like part of ethics would be like understanding what agreement you're having them sign. Right? Actually understand, like, you do, if you're gonna be really, really good in sales, and most people would disagree with this, if you're gonna be really, really good in sales, you should know everything about what you're doing. You shouldn't you shouldn't go in and then not understand your agreement. I still don't fully understand my agreement, but I understand what I'm asking them to do when they sign it, which is that you're going to pay me regardless of if you render my services, right? And that they they should understand that. But they also, as a client, have a responsibility to understand that too, right? And things like this, where it's like, ethics is the greatest good for the greatest number of dynamics. You have first dynamic yourself. You have second, which is family, sex, relationships, or just family and sex and kids. Just having kids, producing them out of thin air. Actually, you just hope.
With a stork.
And then like come out of nowhere, out of the little hole in the wall, like the little mouse door. That's where the kids come from. So, and then third dynamic is like your church, your group. It could be technically, white people, black people's a group, white people's a group, right? All races together are humanity, right? So all humans. And then you have that's fourth dynamic. So then you have fifth dynamic, which is all life forms. You have sixth dynamic, which is what is sixth dynamic? Physical universe, spiritual universe, seventh, and then God, infinity, whatever you want to put there. I'm still exploring the seventh and the eighth dynamics, so we won't get into those today. But that's it. So ethics is what is the greatest good for the greatest number of dynamics, right? And knowing the difference between right and wrong. Should I sell this person? Should I not? Most of the time, you actually should. You should do everything that you can. And while some people think it's unethical, actually, it takes a lot of responsibility. And this is why I talk about ethics, is because if you understand, you can control another person, right?
100%.
Humanity on a sales call is just taking responsibility for the other person. which means if it was in person, you'd wrestle them to the ground, take their hand, pry it behind their back into their back pocket to grab their wallet, and then take their little fingers and pinch them together, pull out their credit card, and swipe their credit card for them. Because if what you're doing, and now this isn't, if you sell like car parts and stuff, this doesn't really apply. But if you're selling something that somebody needs, right, you should take responsibility for the entire cycle of their decision, which means if they make the wrong decision, that was your fault.
Yeah.
Right. And there is the other side of it where they do have their own intentions and their own thoughts and feelings and things that they want, right? And their own originations, things that come from them, right? But most of the time it's somebody's mind getting in the way or some kind of obstacle. And it's like, okay, cool. Yeah, go talk to your wife. We don't want to get you like breaking up just because you bought something. That would be kind of irrational, right?
Yeah.
But also know that, hey, your wife didn't have the same conversation as us. So she doesn't see all the problems that you just shared with me, but she probably experiences all of the problems that you shared with me, all of the symptoms, right? So she probably would be in agreement if you purchased, and would be really happy if you weren't, a sad, poor piece of shit kind of person. And so, like, it's knowing ethics would be in sales is knowing when and when not to sell somebody. And like for instance, I don't really like I said, everybody can read my agreement. Go ahead, take your time, take a whole day, and just sign it tomorrow. I don't really care. Um, but also I know that they don't know the words in what they're reading, so they won't understand it anyway. They're just reading it to feel comfortable.
Yeah.
Like, but all the legal jargon, like, I have to go learn some legal jargon so that way I can understand what legal stuff is. If I'm running a business, I'm going to be signing agreements with other people. I got to understand what those agreements are, and they're not going to just be as simple as you render a service to me and I pay you money. Some of those agreements might be rev share agreements. Some of those agreements might have more complexities and certain targets where you get paid out. And there has to be some way for where your cash flows, you know, seen by me. So that way I can know that you're actually paying me the 10, 14, 6%, whatever it is that we agreed to. Right. And you're not hiding because then you go out ethics because you're not keeping agreements and you're lying to people. So then you screw up and that affects my income because people who go out ethics, their performance goes down. Right. Whenever you start not keeping your word to people and you start treating people poorly, or you are out exchange, meaning you're taking more than you're giving. Right. And so and a lot of people will doctor up their numbers to make sure that the other guy gets screwed. Well, that doesn't really make much sense because what you put out is what you get back. So
Yeah.
you're going to get screwed by somebody else. And you probably started screwing people and used the fact that you got screwed once as a justification. And you think that's how the world is, that everybody's out to get each other. No, everybody can be out to take care of each other. And
Mhm.
that would be the best ideal situation, is that everybody is working in everybody else's best interest and they aren't really worried about their own interest because they understand if they take care of other people will take care of them. Right. That would be the best way to operate. And ethically, I had a guy had a great went on a call today, but whenever he was buying from me, he said, I'm just really scared. I don't know if I can do this. And I said, you are too mentally fucked up right now to make a decision. Just give me your money and I'll help you. And he signed the agreement. And he's happy. He's making progress. He sold more this month already than he sold last month. Right. And now he just joined. So like we're working through stuff. But I'm really not worried about him because I have a really high responsibility towards him. I know if he gets stuck, I'm gonna pull him out of it. Cool, sweet. You don't have to have a sales rep. So it's things like that. That's what goes into ethics. Is it's a really high level of responsibility for other people, and at least in sales, right? And considering, okay, cool. If they don't purchase my product, he wants to have a family at some point. His operating basis on sales calls right now is unethical. He's not listening to people. He's not paying attention to them. He's on his phone, scrolling, doing things like this. So I need to help him change his operating basis in life, because imagine bringing that operating basis to a relationship or trying to build a family and he's not present there. Imagine if he's willing to treat a prospect like that. Imagine what he'll do to his own family,
Yeah.
right? So I have a moral obligation to buy my shit, even though you feel scared. Your emotions are not you. You're a spiritual being. You have emotions. The one guy was like, "Are your emotions an indicator of something?" He's like, "Yeah, they are." No, they aren't. Data. If you look at data, data can tell you the indicators. Okay, cool. We're starting to dip a little bit this month. Okay, why are we starting to dip? How do we solve it? That's simple. But then you're like, oh man, I'm scared. I shouldn't make a decision, whether it's in your business or a purchasing decision, because I'm scared. Now you're letting emotions run your life.
Yeah.
And especially if I'm the mindset guy, right? My job's to get you to not let emotions run your life. And that's the most ethical thing I can do is get you thinking more clearly, thinking more logically, so you can make better decisions in life. Because who else is going to do that with you, right? You're going to pay some other guy who's going to use your emotions to get you to buy, and he's going to do some hypnosis on you and fuck you up worse. And he's going to do, have you. I saw a really well known guy in the online sales space in terms of mindset. Like he comes with a call, he's like, I've decided I'm worthy. And this is like what crazy people do, right? Like like everything's a declaration. It's extremely dramatic. Everything's a drama. Like you're fighting some kind of war and it's this heroic moment. When no, you could just be worthy because you do good things for other people. It doesn't have to be this big. That's how you have, ups and downs all day is you manufacture it. Basically, you
Yeah.
make everything a big deal, right? I don't know. I don't know if any of that's useful, but that's the idea with the group. I'm going to be making fun of dumb things that people do to get in their own way.
That's what the unethical group is going to be about.
Yes, it's going to be pure satire to make fun. Because if you get in your own way and you get scared on a sales call and you don't close somebody who needs help, that's less ethical. Somebody did not get help because you got in your own way, right? And a lot of this probably sounds really aggressive compared to like how most people operate, but most people aren't willing to take responsibility for others.
No,
Right.
most people are barely willing to take responsibility for themselves. They if they can't do that, then they really can't take responsibility for others because they don't
Mm-hmm.
have it. And then they make, and I see this a lot with different salespeople, and then they blame the prospect, right, or the leads or whatever
Yes.
because
Yes.
they're like they're not closing. And I mean sometimes, yeah, in today's age of clicks and funnels, you can get some pretty, you know, uh, unqualified leads to come through for a
Yes.
offer, right? But at the end of the
Say
day,
70% of them, right?
yeah, and that's the one thing that I found, doing a lot of online sales is like still navigating through in my business with what I do for silver and gold and investing in Canada.
Mm-hmm.
99% of the prospects that are coming to me are from a referral from somebody that I've helped, so they already know it's more just a what do you need kinda conversation. It's a slower
It's logistics.
process, right? And it's
Yeah.
working out what we can do and a lot of repeat business. So it's a very different process than like the high ticket space, right? And
Yeah.
selling online and selling courses and programs and
Very emotion fueled.
yeah.
Yeah. It's like high octane, right? And you take some meth and then you take some alcohol and then you smoke some weed and now you have the perfect influence.
The
Yeah,
perfect
exactly.
boiler.
I like boiler room stuff, but like boiler room people are stressed out. You see them in like I watched I hate Glenn Ross. That was just a terrible movie.
Which
Um,
one?
Glenn Ross. I thought like the movie itself was good. There was just like it went nowhere. There was no like end to the like the guy just. Have you seen it?
No.
If you're in sales, highly recommend watching it because
It's
it'll give you an
what?
Glenn Gary, Glenn Ross. It's like a classic sales movie. I think it's from like the 90s.
Okay.
And they're in a office and they have leads on paper, a name and a phone number on a card.
Yeah.
And you had to buy the leads, right? And the lead is something that they would distribute and you'd only get so many leads every month or every year and whoever did better got more leads. Well, that makes sense, right? You
Yeah.
killed what you eat, da 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 da. So, and then all these people because they're doing so poorly at sales, they start becoming even more unethical, right? They're already unethical because they just lie to people.
Yeah.
Like bait and switch isn't the worst thing. It's up there. It's kind of bad, but just blatantly lying to people or like putting on a face you're smiling, but like secretly you're like, I'm gonna take your money behind the scenes. Like that's passive aggressive. That is no S to be in. That's bad. So it has a lot of great depictions of what poor salespeople look like, who are bad and unethical and have strayed from a good path, right? Because nobody wants to be unethical. Nobody wants to be that way. They just think they gotta, right? In sales, that's how you think it ought to be.
And that's what sucks because that's what gives sales a bad name. But like,
Mhm.
I mean, the thing is everybody's selling. You know, I laugh at people when I talk to them and they're like, "Oh, I'd be no good at sales." I was like, "Oh," and I always say, "I'm like, oh, here we go. I got to get ready
Yep.
for your sales pitch on how bad you are at selling because you're gonna have to convince me that you're bad for me to believe you. So you know you have to
And
sell
then
me on that, right?"
they'll
And
be
they're like,
really upset after that conversation. Oh man, I
"Exactly.
feel bad with sales.
Yeah,
Like they leave because they convinced you how bad they are.
yeah, yeah, yeah." And not even from sales, just in general. Or they're like, "Oh, I couldn't do what you do because I'm not good at sales," and I'm like, "How do you sell your wife every night?" You know? And they're like, "Oh, wait a minute, this is different." Um,
Yeah, right.
so what are the kind of things that you do for your clients and your programs? Like somebody comes on, do you do like personal coaching? Is it part of a big program? Like how do you take a sales guy and make him better without divulging your entire program?
Oh, I can know. They aren't going to be able to do it on their own. I don't care. I can tell you
Huh?
everything. I could tell you everything that you need to do, and you still won't do it
Why do you
because
think?
the thing everybody already knows what they need to do, and they aren't doing it.
Shit. Yeah.
Yeah. So it doesn't matter if I could give you the whole program for free, you probably still wouldn't do it. Didn't pay money for it, so it doesn't matter to you, right? I've actually had people find a way to get into my program, like the video program itself, without paying money. They just like got in there. They found a link somewhere. And if I went in there and saw how much they watched, it's probably nothing.
Right, yeah, and that's actually
Yeah.
true 'cause I've been involved in other programs and companies, and you can see, you know, there and most people don't even know that, right? They're like, "Ah, the program's not working." I'm like, "No shit, you haven't watched anything yet.
Yes.
What do you expect to
Yeah.
happen?"
I had a guy, he performed really well. He was very hard to work with. I'll tell you, criminals are very difficult to work with, because at some level, they think being a criminal is okay,
Yeah.
right? So they'll think it's okay to be out exchange, meaning they will take from you. And only once you've given them $100,000 worth of value will they think that it's worth, 5 or 10. And it's insane. So I helped this guy. He nearly 10x his business,
Okay.
uh, like in 3 months, which is like, I don't know, Luke, if I 3x or, 9, 10, 11, 12x your business in 3 months, what would you say?
I'd say thank you.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
for
what
real,
you'd say.
right? Yeah, well, no, but for real, I mean, like, you know, and I think, I wanna let you tell the story for sure,
Yeah.
but so many people, uh, have something good to offer, but they don't know how to package it either, right? So that
Mhm.
the client will buy it. But when you can combine all of those things and then you have it, then it's really unfortunate when people like this guy, by the sounds of it, you know,
Yeah, yeah.
do a bad thing. So continue.
Well, it's and look, I don't want to shame the guy.
Let's shame him. No, just
Well, he does deserve to be shamed. That's most definitely what he deserves. But the thing is, I understand the mind and I understand why he's operating the way that he does. Okay, so I get it. It doesn't make it okay, but
yeah.
I get it. Right. So, this is a lot of people who worship money. I have a guy who just joined. He's doing better today. Like we talked about attitude today. And he's like, my focus on money all the time is actually bad. It's stressing me out. Okay, cool. So then why focus on money? Right? Why? That doesn't make much sense. Right.
Mhm.
And I'm like, what attitude would you rather have? And I actually had everybody on the call because right now, I'll get to the story, but right now I'm building out something on my program. Um, called an ideal scene. An ideal scene is a scene is like an area,
Yeah.
right? This is if I was ideal scene for me in sales, part of my scene would be my office and then my COM and then all that kind of stuff. And then I'm also going to include as part of that kind of like attitudes and things like that because it's important how you show up, right? And I already wrote out all the admin side, which is like CRM, note taking, all that. It took me like 3 hours. I was supposed to send DMs, but instead I wrote this. It was insane. You'd love it. Like I have step by step exactly what a perfect sales department should look like. And the ideal state is something that you work towards, right? Over a period of time. It's not something that you do overnight. Someone might look at what I've written, they'd say, man, that's unrealistic. Yes, for you it is right now.
Yeah,
But
because
that's why,
you're operating in chaos or whatever. So of course,
yeah, and you just slowly you just slowly move towards it. So that way, like 3, 5, 10 years from now, you've achieved all these things. All of it's set up, all of it's perfect, and you have a perfect sales department, right? So I didn't outline anything on management yet. I haven't outlined anything on that. I'm really just DLCing for a rep, not a manager, because if I want to create a manager program, you guys ask me, I'll create a manager program. Cool. And then we can work towards the ideal scene there. Because the ideal scene for a sales manager is the same every time. It's the same thing as a sales rep, right? It doesn't change based on the offer. What it might look like changes, like what CRM you're using or what automations you're using or all that sort of thing. But the ideal scene is pretty much the same all the time, is that you have the highest level of nurture, you have the highest level of detail of notes taken, and you use AI to basically, just on the sales rep side, I'm, as part of the ideal scene, AI should be used
mm,
to analyze if the sales rep did what they were supposed to do on the sales call. Not give them a bunch of advice and coaching, did they follow the script? Did they follow the process? Did they ask all the questions that need to be asked? Because usually there was a question that didn't get asked, or you didn't get an answer to it. And because of that, the sales call didn't go well. And it's actually something as simple and fundamental as that. It's not actually the tonality. It's not, um, I could show up. I used to show up terrified to sales calls, and I'd still close deals. I was like, I'd be shaking, sweating. I'd be wearing a freaking Hawaiian shirt and some shorts, and I'd go sell a pool, and I'd do a 90-minute presentation. And they said I was like in the top 20% in the company, and I'm like terrified every day, and my legs are shaking and all that kind of stuff. And yet I'm outperforming most of the people. Like, and all I did was exactly what they told me to do.
yeah,
I had a 90-minute presentation memorized verbatim, and I walked them through it, and I did really good. I love presenting, so it was really fun. And then I'd handle objections. I didn't ask them a damn question about what they wanted. There was no discovery. It was just old fashioned sales, right? Just no discovery, just a pitch. And that was enough. As long as I did exactly what I was supposed to do, I got the result. And
yeah,
sales reps have this thing called self importance. They want to have the high close rate so they can show it off. They want to have the coolest sounding call and that one handler that was really badass so that way they can get validation from their manager or their team. Everything's for validation. Everything's so that way it's their idea. So they want to make it their own. No, 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 no. If you just ask exactly the questions that are on the script, exactly as they ought to be, as how they should be asked, not like, what are your problems today, Mr. Prospect? I mean, if I hopped on a call, you'd probably make you laugh and then it'd probably go well anyway. But if you just asked it and you understood why you were asking it, then you could get the concept across to the person you were asking the question of what you were asking. And if you had a strong enough intention, you could intend for them to answer. And if you can intend for somebody to answer, you will get answers. And if you get all the right answers, you will close the deal. It's pretty simple, right? So it's not actually fundamentals of sales that are out. It's fundamentals of communication,
yeah,
intention, attention, um, affinity, right? Do you have warmth? Right? And interest, things like this. These are the things that are out on sales calls. It's not actually anything to do with sales skills. It's the basics and fundamentals of communication, right? And that's one of the things. I'm rebuilding my program right now. So we're going to be talking about the perfect sales rep, and we're going to be talking about how to communicate. We're going to be cleaning up wrongdoing. So all the bad karma that you've done, we can clear up a bunch of it, make you feel real good, and then you feel worthy. And then when you clear up bad karma, you usually have a lot of good inflows immediately afterwards, right? And then we fix what you outflow. So that's attitude and behaviors, right? And if we just change all these things, all the fear goes away, all the doubt goes away, all the shame goes away, everything goes away, right? I don't need to take you through some woo woo, snort a fart through a straw and have it come out your ear. And then now the fart that came out your ear contains all your fears and now you're fearless. You don't need to be hypnotized. You don't need to take drugs. You don't need to meditate. You don't need to do any of this. It can be extremely practical how you can feel amazing every single day. And it doesn't have to be some strange thing that you do. You don't have to huff and puff and gather up the courage to say that you're worth it. You could just, I don't know, do your job. So I've built a program that helps salespeople and business owners do their job. It's for what's called the sales hat. So it's all the responsibilities of a salesperson, whether it's in a business or um, as a sales rep, right? If you're the business owner or the sales rep, you wear the sales hat when you make sales. You take off the CEO hat. Do not wear the CEO hat when you're making sales. Because then you'll be thinking, oh, how can I fix all the systems? How can I streamline this, that? No, 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 no. Just ask the questions on the script, Mr. Business Owner. Right? I don't create scripts, right? But just ask the questions you know you need to ask. There are certain questions you do need to ask every time. And if you do that, they should get to the point. And then also the other thing is we work on like emotional states, and we learn how to raise someone's emotional state on a call to where they can make a decision, right? Because a lot of the time they're too down in their head. And if you can actually get someone out of their head on a call, you don't have to use any kind of manipulation. You might have to poke some pain and make them feel some fear and some guilt on the way up and terrify them if they don't change what they're doing, right? That's a reasonable thing to do. But you don't need to, there's no flips and tricks. There's a sales trainer in the space. He reached out to me. He's like, hey, I'd love to come do a training for your group. I'm not going to answer him because I know inside of his group, he teaches people to hypnotize people on calls where you say a bunch of words, random words, and then it confuses the prospect. It is a harmful action.
That is a very harmful action. I mean, there's like, we're talking about this. So the other day I had Bob Berg on the show.
Yeah,
He's the
yeah.
author of The Go Giver, right? It's one of
I
my
love
favorite.
that book.
And he's actually he's launching a new book in April, so it's coming out.
Yeah.
Rewriting one of his original books. Well, we were talking about that, just exactly that, like, different books and Influence, right, by Cialdini, right? And it's a good book. And we talked about 48 laws of power and how some people, right, if they got a victim mindset, they're like, well, that's a horrible book. It's teaching you to manipulate people. And I'm like, cool. If that's your perspective, wouldn't you want to read the book then really well so that you know when it's happening to you? They're like, "Uh, like, I guess," and I'm like, "Yeah, so that's why I read it," and they're like, "Yeah, but you're in sales." I'm like, "Yeah, and I don't wanna be manipulated, nor do I want to manipulate people." So, you wanna know when things are happening or when you're moving down the path, like, if I have something that's going to truly help somebody, and I know it's going to help them, I want them to have it, I want to help them have it, but at the same time, I'm not gonna use unethical ways of getting them to have it, like pulling on
Mhm.
some of their emotions in a negative way, stuff like that, because it just creates resentment down the road, even if it worked. And if you're in a like, I mean, I sell silver and gold, so it's not like they're buying something, they have to do something with it later. It's not a
No,
program
it's,
that I'm selling them that they have to now go out and go do it. You wanna
mhm.
make sure that those people that you're selling to, are gonna actually use the program. Otherwise, they're gonna be online talking about what shit you produced or whatever,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
That's
yeah,
not
yeah.
good either, you
Yeah.
know?
So and I don't think it's actually bad, because manipulation just means to handle skillfully. And there's another definition, which is like, to do nasty things to people and trick them and all that kind of stuff. If somebody is in a house and it's on fire and they're going to die, they cannot perceive that it is on fire. Would you manipulate them to get them out of the house?
Yeah,
Okay. So, manipulation, uh, see, it's the ends that matter. It's not the means.
fair.
The end of hypnotism is that somebody gets fucked up, and it's actually a harmful act to confuse somebody, to put them asleep to some way. That's actually a harmful act, right? But if I get somebody in their emotions and they get scared, right, their situation not changing. I don't do this with, you don't need to really do this with gold and silver. It's just like, do you want to learn how to do this and buy some? Like, it's simple. It's so simple. I love like the idea of commodities trading. It's not necessarily transformational. Like, you don't change something about the person, but in terms of a transaction, it's extremely simple. Do you want it or do you not? You already know the value proposition, right? And then it's just handling logical things. Oh, I don't think I should invest in this instead. Well, okay, cool. Then you ask them some questions, and then you see if they think it's logical to do the investment
Yeah.
or to do some other investment, because maybe investing in the other thing's better for them, right? Depending on what their risk threshold is and things like that. Um, so it definitely depends on what you're selling. But let's say you're selling business coaching, and somebody's problem is that they're too scared to talk to people to make money in their business, right? Okay, cool. So you already know they're too emotional to do the logical thing, which is make money in their business, right? So why not just use the emotions that they're already fucked up with right now to get them to buy? Because they might never solve their problem if they don't pay you money. If what you
Yeah.
sell is ethical. So what you sell has to be ethical, right? It's okay, like a little bit of manipulation to get them in if what you sell helps them and will help them, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't just help anybody, but it will help them. Then it's the right thing to do, because otherwise you're leaving them with their problems. And if you're more ethical than the next guy, you are being unethical by not selling them, because they might get sold by somebody else who's a shyster or does not
Yeah,
have.
and that's real, and I see that a lot,
Yeah.
especially in the sales world, right? Where certain, coaches or sales teams are getting people in because they're selling unethically, and they're getting people in that really shouldn't be there, especially in the sales game. Because now you're seeing so much of this stuff presented online about, like, high ticket sales and come to work for this company and that company, and they're selling a course on learning to be better at sales, and then they're reselling the same course, and it's like, well, okay, well,
I know, yeah, I know exactly who you're talking about.
that sounds like
And
a
I,
pyramid scheme right now, if you ask me. But
yeah.
anyway, um, um, the other thing that's bad about that is that, yeah, if they were really looking and you could have actually helped them get into sales or increase their current business. Like, I've said that to so many people. I have friends of mine that run businesses, and I've gone down this path. I had a construction company for 20 years. And I was looking for other things because I knew I could just do something more, hence why I'm where I am now. But
Yeah.
the biggest mistake I made during some of those really great years was actually looking away from my business for the next shiny object. And people
Mhm.
see me making this career transition, and they're like, "I wanna do that." And I'm like, "Okay, but what you should do is get really freaking good at selling then your own stuff." Because if you could take
Mhm.
these programs and take some things, and you could raise your own company, you know, sales and value and volume and all that stuff, you would develop the skills selling something you're good at and works, and then you can transition to sell something different. Like, don't stop doing what you do and just think that it'll be easier if you're selling, you know,
Yeah,
whatever.
they always want an easier road, and the reason why they want an easier road is because they're not doing their job.
Yeah.
So they're hoping they can get away with not doing their job somewhere else, and they'll make
Yep.
more money. That's all it is. So that in the online sales space, what happens is you have people who are mediocre in life, and um, I'm gonna tell a bit about my story, because I was horribly scared. That's my excuse. I would shake and sweat when I've gotten my first sales role, and I'd pick up the phone, and I'd get a rejection, and I hang up the phone, and I wouldn't dial the rest of the day. I was too scared. I would like sit there paralyzed, unable to like just pick up the phone, right? And I just literally paralyzed by fear. And but I showed up every day. I worked like, I don't know, 9, 10 hours a day, 6 days a week. And then I went on to my next role,
Mhm.
right? And during that sales day, if there was no prospects, I wasn't dialing, but I was reading, which is not exactly what I should have been doing.
Yeah.
But I was still trying to learn. I read a really good sales book. It's How to Make $100,000 a Year in Car Sales. And there's a lot of really good stuff in there that applies to every industry. Like,
Yep.
get everybody's address and send them flowers or something. They like on Valentine's Day, or send them, a birthday gift, or whenever it's a kid's birthday, like things like this. People remember that forever. People don't do it nowadays. And if they did, holy crap, would they
Yeah.
close more deals? That would knock people's socks off. Like, you don't get letters in the mail, but if you got something in the mail,
Oh, man, I sent letters.
yeah, but yeah, but if you received one, right, you'd be really excited. That'd be like a really special thing, right? And you would never forget who sent it to you.
No.
Probably, I don't know.
And back in the construction days, Z, you talked about that. I would take like lots of times like a sticky note and put like thanks for whatever, and I'd stick it onto the check that I mailed to like suppliers or contractors or whatever. I was thanking them for what they did. One year at Christmas, a bunch of builders pissed me off because I'd always send them like, like a fruit tray or whatever, right? Like, and
Yeah.
so they were like ungrateful. And in one year, I was like, I'm tired of this shit. So I went out, bought a bunch of bottles of wine, cases of beer back when I drank, and I went around to all the places I spent money and I brought them, if it was like even the chiropractor's office, I took the front desk girls a couple bottles of wine.
Yeah.
The mechanics brought them a case of beer, and they were blown away, right? Because like, "Well, we give you money, we should be giving you stuff." I'm like, "Yeah, whatever. If you did, you did. Don't give it to me now because I gave you something. That seems shitty." The service I got after that went through the roof.
Yeah.
Now when I
Yeah.
called, I was like, "Hey, can I get in last minute?" They're like, "Yeah, because thanks for the wine," or, whatever.
Hmm.
I, so that's good. Like, but then from a sales perspective, yeah, sending something out to them, following up with them. I, uh, I love my Samsung phone. Everybody's about iPhone. I like Samsung because
I'm a Samsung guy too. Yeah.
I can program messages. So, yeah, you don't know about that?
Like you can schedule it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I know about you. I saw that
Oh,
like, I don't know, a month ago.
oh, yeah, no, so I've been using it for years. So, like, I come up, we have a conversation. You say, "I'm not ready, check back with me in the spring." Cool. "Hey, John, it's Luke, duh, 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 blah, blah, blah. How was your trip to Vegas?" Or whatever. And then I would program that to send out for a month from now when you told me you were going to Vegas. And then he'd be like, "Hey, man, frick, Vegas was great. Thanks, blah, blah, blah." Then I would program another message like, "Hey, it's spring. You said to check in with you in the spring about concrete ceiling or whatever, right? And like, have you gave it any thought? What do you think?" "Oh, man, yeah, yeah, let's do it this year. That sounds great." Cool, well, that was done. Well, last year, every day that I was in the gym, after the gym, I sat in the sauna for 20, 30 minutes.
Hmm.
I pre-programmed "Merry Christmas, John. Happy New Year, John," to every single contact in my phone. Everyone. 2,000 contacts, I think, went out, personalized from myself, not a freaking CRM from a different number. And I would add a personalized note to it, like something some just got "Merry Christmas" or whatever, but if we were
Yeah.
talking, regularly, it might be like, "How's the kids?" or whatever. And Christmas Day, all these messages go out throughout the whole day. A couple of the other sales guys were like, "Dude, I don't have time for that." And I'm like, "Yeah, good. Neither do I on Christmas Day, but I got time
Hmm.
leading up to it to program it, select the day, select the time." Um, I would do it on most holidays, and, I don't do it because it's gonna result in sales back, but it always does, right? I do it because it's who I really want to actually touch base with people and contact them, and it's an important day. If it's their birthday, give them a call. If you know their anniversary or something, yeah, send something out because people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And when you
Hmm.
can leverage technology, right? You mentioned AI and things like that. Well, that's the equivalent of leveraging technology that exists, which is why I've never
Hmm.
switched to an iPhone because I can't do it with an iPhone. And it doesn't allow me to do the same things. So people are like, "Oh, I don't want that green message." I'm like, "Well, whatever." Like, it produces me a lot. Paper money's losing power, but real money, it's been trusted for 5,000 years. When banks print, inflation steals, and markets shake, gold and silver stay solid. Don't wait for headlines, own what's real. Visit learnwealthcycles.com and start building freedom with physical silver and gold today. When you were talking about getting hung up on, have you ever played or like done games in your mind for rejection so that you know that you can get over those objections?
You mean handle them, or like after it happens, I don't get bugged by it?
Yeah, yeah, like after. Yeah. Like
After, oh, yeah, probably, yeah.
I have a friend of mine, he sells boats and
Yeah.
like high-end boats, and he made a list. Like, it's like people that literally told him, "Fuck you," or "Fuck off," or something. Made a
Yeah,
whole
yeah, yeah.
hundreds of people. He divided it, the his total sales in the year by the amount of times he was told "F you." Yeah, so to be every "F you" was worth $1,000. made like 10 million bucks.
Yes.
And
That's so good.
so then he leveled it up though. This is where you talk about now you want to level up for like a leadership management. He
Yeah.
told his sales force team, every time someone tells you F you, I'll pay you $100 cash that day. You just, you got to show me that they said it, whatever, right? And
So good.
so he
Okay.
knew how much people would like they would like, go for the sale. They would, recall, retarget, like, follow up because they might say no. That didn't count. They had to say like, leave me the F alone. And they would get so many yeses before they ever got told F you. The no didn't
You have
matter.
no idea.
They were
Yeah.
like trying to get F you, right? And
So good.
and then, because he's, like, in sales, he took it to the next level. He created, like, he had the list, all the phone numbers, everything, dropped them into, like, a burner phone essentially, because he didn't want his main number shut off, retargeted them, said, "Hey, this is Dane," that's his name, and, "from XYZ, and, at some point in the last year, you told me 'F you, blah, blah, blah. Hey, we just launched this new, mechanic shop. We're doing free, tire changes for your winter tires. If you come in and say F you, you told us F you, we're gonna do your tire swap for free, $80 deal or whatever." He got so many F yous back. This guy showed up at the
Oh
shop
no.
to to see who this guy was that was so relentless, right? Because he respected it. That's why he showed up, because he's a big business guy, and was like,
Yeah.
"This is nuts that you would literally call me and contact me. I wanna know where he is." And as he came in the shop, he's like, "Hey, what year is that boat?" Dude walked out with a $250,000 boat. Boom, right? Like, from following up. So it's like, that story is always, and I mean, he's a good friend of mine, and it's like, to see that and to see what he was doing, and some people just think it's ridiculous, and I'm like, "It is ridiculous," but he found a way to make and celebrate the hard things in sales of being told no. Like, you're gonna face a
It's
lot of
very good.
objections when you're
It's
doing,
very good.
especially in high ticket sales, right?
That's so good. Oh my God. See, this is why I like the old fashioned like attitude because it's like, whatever, whatever.
Yeah.
Come on, bring it on. I love it because nowadays everybody gets like so butthurt. I totally got butthurt too, but thankfully I don't get so butthurt anymore. I'd love to do this. I want to set this up in my business because that sounds so good. I'm going to add that actually to the ideal scene that I wrote. I want to say every business has a some kind of fuck you policy. Um, that would be really, that's so good. Cause then I asked my guys, I'm like, if it took like 10 no's to get to your next one, yes, how soon would you get your next no? And it's always immediately, ASAP. And then it changes their thought process. This is the other part. I'll answer the two questions that I didn't answer and went on tangents. Um, but how are we doing on time, by the way?
You're good, man.
All right, sweet. Um, so the reps, I had a whole meeting with them. I have like a 25-minute video I'll be posting on YouTube soon. It'll be like my first YouTube video, but it's anybody who watches this, you can just reach out to me. Ask about the
Video.
how to play the sales game. Yeah, because it's the misunderstanding that everybody has is uh well, let me ask you, Luke. I'll ask you the same questions I asked them. So what is a game? What is required for a game?
Well, I mean, a set of rules, typically, right?
Okay, yeah,
To produce an outcome, like a result. You wanna know, I always wanna know what it takes to win the game. That's like my first. I you need to understand the rules of, if we take a board game, right? Or a sport game. Yeah, there's the rules that you can enter into play to compete, but I always start with, like, how do I win, right? So it's Monopoly, well, you gotta be the
sure.
last one standing
But
with your
just the
money.
requirements for a game. Like if we look at the what a game is, not the things that you bring to it. Just what is a game? What is a game?
I mean, it's a my brain keeps coming to a board game, but I mean, it's like it's an event or an activity that you're gonna do for fun.
That's interesting. That's so if I was to, I don't know, um, go for a walk and I find that fun, is that a game?
You could gamify it though.
So, I'll tell you what a game is. You have
You're wrong.
one side, Yeah, you're wrong, Luke. You're so fucking stupid. Really good answers. Um, a game is. I'm gonna demonstrate this for you. I got two lighters here. All right. You have one side
Mm-hmm.
and another side, and they go against each other. That's it. That's a game. All
Yeah.
right. And in football, you're trying to score touchdowns, and it's very literal in football, where you have one side that's directly physically opposing the other side, and then you want to go over there, right? They have the defense, you have the offense, and they try and get past your line, past your strategy. They try and trick you or overwhelm you. The way, sure way to win against someone is to overwhelm them. So that's what you're trying to do in a game, is you're trying to overwhelm the other person to where they are rendered not so useful, and you get past their line, right? So you trick them. Oh, we're gonna throw the ball this way. Up, gotcha. We threw it that way, right? But the basics of a game is that you have two opposing sides, and they are fighting against each other. That's it. And
Mm.
number one, if you don't know that sales is a game, then you cannot play it. So you'll get offended every time something doesn't go your way, right?
Fair.
And then number two is we got to understand what the game is against. Do you know what the game of sales is against, Luke?
What the game is against? I
Yes.
mean, well, I mean, it's against being rejected and not getting your sale. I mean, that would be the
Nope.
if I'm the sales rep, I mean, I wanna win, I wanna get the sale. That means I
Yes.
won the game. But to me at
Yes.
and at the same time, I think that if what I'm helping the client achieve and I sell them, they're getting what they want.
Yeah. So they're on your side,
Yeah.
right? And they're also fighting against no. Well, they technically, I wouldn't say that the prospect's so much a part of the game, because all you're trying to fight against is no. If you
Yeah.
had to sell robots, right? You then then they could just keep serving you up objections until you get a yes, right? So that's the game is no. You're going against no. So I asked my guys, I was like, so wouldn't it be reasonable that you get a lot of no's? And
Yeah.
they're like, yeah. And then it kind of like blew their mind. They're like thinking, I want to avoid no. No, go to get as many as you can, right?
Yeah.
You're gonna make more money. And that's it. That's the game
Yeah,
of
this new guy
sales.
I had a new guy that's coming in to, like, wanna do the silver and gold game with me, and I've been mentoring him
Yeah.
a bit, and he's, like, struggling because he's being told no a lot, right? And he's shifting from oil and gas. He's very knowledgeable in the commodity space and investing. And he's like, "Ah, man, it's so hard." And I was like, "Yeah, it is." And I was like and he goes like, "How many people did you have to talk to before you got, yeses, right?" And I said, "Well," so I started thinking about it. I said, I said, "My first year, I probably, like, without a doubt, I probably talked to, like, 400 people in the year, you
Mhm.
know?" And I said, then, like, 70 of them became a client.
That's
I said
really good.
and then I said, well, and I can explain why that even was, but, then so I started talking, I said, "So, realistically, I've probably talked to, 2,000 people now, in this business particularly." And I said, "And I got, 300 clients." So I got 1,700 no's. So I said, "So if you get through those 1,700 no's, bro, you're gonna be successful." And he's just like
Right.
looked at me and I was like, "Yeah, so as soon as you get through 1,700, it's easy street, bro. You'll be
Yeah.
making so much money." Uh, I always believed in relationship building and value in my construction company. Some of my first clients here were construction clients. I
Yeah.
called them, I said, "This is what I'm doing. I wanna get your opinion on it, like, I respect you, you've got a lot of wealth that you've built because we did really high-end concrete. I'm not pitching you, I just wanna know if you think what I'm doing is good." The first 3 out of 4 that I talked to, when I kinda went into the spiel, they're like they already knew the owner, and they're like, "We already deal with him." And I was like, "Okay, so I'm on the right track." They're like, "Yeah, will you help our kids?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." And so it kinda came into stuff like that, and then, yeah, they just became clients because they know, liked, and trust me already, and then it just evolved from there, you know? I mean, we met because I was doing training and working for Ty's team, right? And
Mhm.
and still am and still doing stuff, and I enjoy it, because I enjoy I enjoy the pressures that it brings, right? It's a different sales process because when I'm talking to a client, they're coming to talk to me. When I'm
Yes.
sitting with somebody else doing high ticket sales or some other thing, they're coming for the end result or the coach or the person. So there's a lot of cancels. There's a lot of like feelers out there. I don't get that anymore in my business. They're coming.
Right.
So it's an easier process. But I cultivated and built the trust factor, right? Like because I had built those relationships for my whole life, the people that are my clients now know how much I care about them. So when they tell their friend or their brother or family or whatever to call me, I've already got that level of trust built up. But when I'm working for someone else, right, it's a different process. And I'm not in a hurry, right? Like I'm not trying to close somebody on the first call when it comes to silver and gold. So it's like I want to find out what they need, what their pain points are, all these things and like help them build a solution. Sometimes it's right away,
Mhm.
but it's a different process. And what I like right now, this whole shift that's been going on with Ty is, they're doing a lot of work for really big clients, like agency type clients, and as he's going and talking about, like, what it is that we're building out, I'm like, "Yeah, I'm here for this. This is the kinda shit that I've been doing." I was like, "Put me in, coach. I'll be able to help these clients in a big way because I know about the relationship thing," where I see some of the other people are like, ugh, it's because they've tried to get on and off calls so quickly to make sales fast, and I'm like, "That doesn't
All
work."
about themselves.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
It has to be about the client, and, um, I'm glad that you're somebody that wants to help sales trainers know that and understand that because we need more of that in the industry because those type of all about themselves salespeople give the industry of sales a bad name,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah. So
People are like, "Oh, you're a sales guy." I mean, as long as you're not a used car salesman, you're
I'm like, hell yeah, I'm a sales guy, and I used to sell used cars. So what's
nice.
to you? Yeah.
That's where you carved your skills was used car sales?
Absolutely not. No, I left after 6 months. I didn't
Yeah.
stay in a single sales role for longer than 3 months after that.
Really?
And then I sold econ coaching, and then the business shut down because it was too no, they let rid of that happened twice actually. I got
Yeah.
let go of with a whole team being let go twice for like profit reasons. One of them was it was uh, cost of acquisition is too high. The other one was he wanted to change the model. And then I stayed in one role for 19.9 months. And on average, the company, we only had a two-person sales team, one setter, one closer. And the company grew by 20% on average month over month for those 19.9 months, approximately. I think it showed me 12 months. But my income just slowly grew and like we did like 100 to 200 grand a month in cash collected consistently. And it's it's not that hard. Like, I was lazy as shit when I was doing that. If I actually worked 8 hours a day, I would have probably been making close to 20 grand a month as a setter. And my closer would have been making, what is that, 60 grand a month or whatever that is, not including bonuses and things like that. Because it's actually pretty easy to do
Yeah.
it. It's just that you don't do your job, so you procrastinate. I procrastinated all day, and yet I still did really good. Like, I had all the skills, but the main thing that changed was as soon as I fixed my mindset, then my level of aggression went up, and all the sales skills that I had ever learned worked. And
Yeah.
then I've done over like 300 hours of communication drills in person, being able to confront another person, being able to not you have a mind and it reacts right on automatic and it's not under your control. So you can actually train to have it under your control where you don't react whenever someone gets mad at you or somebody acts a certain way on a sales call or says something mean. And I trained 300 hours on that. So if somebody I don't care what someone like fucking try me. Like, I
Yeah.
just don't care, man. Like, I'm here to have fun. If I hopped on a call with a lady earlier, she was a free coaching call, 15 minutes. She hops on, and I'm like, "Hey, how you doing?" She's like, "Good." And I'm like, "What's up with the attitude?" And she's like, "This is how I am." And so then I knew immediately, okay, this person is just lower tone. Their mental state is much lower, and this is what it's going to be like to talk to them. So I was like, I'm just going to give them something that helps because I might hop on another call with her. Um I just what am I gonna do to help? Right? Like I can't help crazy people and I can't help people who are too low down mentally. And that's just the thing of it. If you're too screwed up mentally, I want to see you succeed. I just don't know when that's going to be because you got some stuff triggered off in your mind and it's continuously triggered off all day long. And you might need to remove yourself from your environment and go for a walk, a very,
Yeah.
very long walk every single day and get some good sleep. But for the people who know that they have the skills and can't get the job done, to answer your question from earlier, the way that my program works, or I'm rebuilding it, so it's gonna change, but it'll have these components in it. Handle the bad karma. Be able to communicate. We'll handle understanding the mind, so you'll understand all the different mental states that someone can have and how to communicate to them to raise their mental state so they can get to a place to where they can buy. How to piss someone off about their situation, how to get them scared about it, how to feel guilt. They should feel guilty. If you didn't like, here's the other thing that I'll be covering. I don't want to be a sales trainer. I just want to be the guy. Great if you got some mental blocks that are keeping you from doing well in life and your business. Let's work together. I don't want to be the guy who teaches you sales. Okay, I will
Right.
teach you about communication, but I'm going to have to teach sales in this. And it's like whenever you're asking about solutions, if they've gone through like 5 or 6 solutions, let's say you're saying selling business opportunity or like business coaching or something, and they've gone through multiple solutions, it's highly unlikely all of them didn't work. It's
Yeah.
highly likely they didn't do something that they should have been doing. So cool, you're going to feel guilty. What didn't you do? And doesn't it scare you? Like your operating basis? What if this never changes? Right? And why now and all that kind of stuff. And then you go up and doesn't it piss you off? Right. But that's it. It's just we'll be raising people's states. We'll be clearing out our mental shit. It's gonna be way simpler. I have a tool that I built that helps people shift their belief on their own. We can get rid of fear, doubt, procrastination, self sabotage. If you're a criminal, I can't help with your criminal behavior. I don't want to actually,
No.
because it's just too much. Now I will tell you, if you are a criminal in this sense, I can help you because a criminal is somebody who takes more than they give. So if you keep taking free resources and not paying the people who give you help, if you keep um, receiving favors and help and training from people, but you don't give an equal amount in exchange, if you sign agreements and you don't keep, I will not work with you if you think it's okay to break an agreement.
Yeah, no, I'm one of my favorite books ever outside of The Go-Giver that Bob wrote is The Science of Getting Rich, right? And have you
Yeah,
ever read that book?
Wallace D. Waddles.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
and it talks about that, right? Like, give more in use value than you take in payment value all the time, right? And I felt like I did that through with my construction company. I know I do that with Silver and Gold and what we provide because, like, we're competitive on price, but we provide so much more value on education and helping them, with other understandings that, like, you don't get that from somebody else. You're just like, "I should buy gold right now." And I'm like, "Yeah, you should." And they're like, "Well, what's your price?" And I'm like, "If that's all you care about, then I'm the wrong guy for you." Like, I
yeah,
know we have competitive pricing, but, like, if you're shopping my price around, I've done a bad job showing you what else we do with our company. So, like, let me explain that to you, you know?
yeah.
Um, but yeah, that book in particular and talking about that and the Go Giver is kind of the same. It's like, well, I need to make money. It's like, well, then give people value. And then they're like, "But I need to make a lot of money fast." It's like, then give a lot of people value fast,
Yeah, it's so
right?
simple.
Like,
Yeah,
and then you're good. And people are like, "Well, yeah, that's it comes back again to like the phone and the texting." It's like I'm utilizing time when I would just be sitting in the sauna, but I know I can impact hundreds of, well, in that case, thousands of people's day by just getting this little message, And like
flow equals.
some responded, some didn't. I didn't do it to get a response. I'm like, I know they saw it. Some of them saw the Happy New Year thing. On one hand, so we were doing a market. We were there for like a year where we had a booth set up and we were out in the general public just talking to people. And I would get their phone numbers and I would send them my podcast that I recorded like with Kid Carson where I was showing, what we do. And I would send them that for information. So I would talk to them and say, "Hey, can I send you a podcast? Get your number." Yeah, give them their number, put their name in my phone. And then I would check in a week later. "Hey, what'd you think of the podcast?" And some people, I would send them like multiple messages. They'd never answer me, not even, and then, so then what I did is I sent them Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, programmed. And then I sent another programmable message for like the 3rd of January. It was like, hey, reached out to you plenty of times. Obviously, you're not interested in chatting with me. I'm gonna go ahead, remove you from my list, and you know, take care with things, right? The amount of people that responded to that, like, "Well, no, 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 I've just been busy." I'm like, "Dude, I've been messaging you for 6 months, like, and you haven't replied to anything." But as soon as I take it away, and not all of them, some of them just were like, "Yeah, good. Yeah, take me off your list." And I'm like, "Fine,
Yeah.
no problem." You know, I think that it like when you talked about a game, if you can gamify things, it just makes life so much more fun. It's easier to have a higher vibration, right? My wife calls it go on an adventure. You know?
Yeah.
I
Absolutely.
went to Vancouver 6 weeks ago, whatever. I was out there for an event and, I didn't have a credit card because I had lost it and, it hadn't arrived yet. And so, of course, booking a hotel with no credit card is a lot more work. You have to bring cash and give them a cash deposit and, but I couldn't rent a car because I didn't have a credit card, and I had planned on renting a car to get around everywhere. So I was like, "Well, I guess I'll just have to spend more money in Uber everywhere." But my wife's like, "Just go have fun. Like, don't worry about it. It's gonna cost you a few $100 more than you planned. Like, who cares? Just go have fun."
Where are
Really?
you renting cars where it's cheaper than Uber?
Like renting a car cheaper than Uber?
Yeah, like the last car that I rented, like it's like a grand for like 4 days.
Yeah, and maybe not, but I had to drive all over Vancouver. Like, I was going
Okay, got
to
it.
different places. I wasn't just, like, driving to the hotel and staying there. I would have had to like, I only ended up taking Uber twice because here's what happened. Because I went with the mindset of having fun and gamifying my what otherwise would be perceived as a huge pain in the ass, right? I downloaded the Uber app. I'd never taken Uber before. And when I went to go get the Uber at the airport, I noticed train to the city, and I was like, "What is this?" And I had no idea Vancouver even had the Sky Train that can get every
Yeah.
and I was like so I typed in the hotel address, I was sitting in the airport, and then I looked, and it was like $50 to get to the hotel with the Uber, and it was $8 to take the train, and I had to walk 2 blocks, and I was like, "This is awesome." So,
Yeah.
because I was in the mindset of just having fun, dude, I've never rented a car. I've been there 4 more times. I take the train everywhere because it's like boom, 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 like, and I book
Train's
and I
fun.
look and I book where like, I get the same hotel because it's close, like, I know where everything is that I'm going, and now it's, like, been just yeah, I took my daughter there a couple weeks ago for a concert, and she's like, "So where do we go now? How do we get to the hotel?" I'm like, "We'll get on the train. There's a lot of sketchy, weird people on there, but you'll be good." And, so that we just like get on and travel. And that's been something I've tried to hold as a principle. And sometimes I forget it in sales actually when I'm making a lot of calls. Like again, my business, different. I'm talking to people, they're scheduled. I know we're talking to them. But when I'm putting in the time, time I'm calling and I'm doing it in the CRM, it can be long days, man. They're a grind sometimes, like, you're just no like, no answer, no answer, no answer. You get through to somebody, and I recognize this with some of the newer people that were in sales. They'd get on the phone with somebody that wasn't qualified, didn't have the money, didn't want what we had, but they finally got to talk to somebody, so they'd
Yeah.
spend 2 hours
That,
on the phone trying
mhm.
to sell them something.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
No, like, get off
That
the
one shred of hope.
ask them the questions, and if they don't answer the right way, like, and you know that they're telling the truth, like, they're not
Mhm.
qualified to buy, so get off the phone and move on.
Yeah, move on. Yeah,
It's okay, you know?
that's it. That's easy.
Yeah. What do you think the biggest roadblock that salespeople make themselves? Like, what's something that you see that like you can change for somebody that then they start to see a ton of success?
It's different for everybody, actually. I'm adding some things into my program that I didn't have before. One of them is going back and finding a time where you created a sort of like an idea of what's going to happen in the future, how you're going to be, um, where you were bold and then you decided you wouldn't be so bold, right? I think that's really going to help. And it's a really quick, cool. We go back, we find it, and we switch it, and okay, cool, done. Great. Now we don't hold ourselves back anymore, right? But in terms of what were you gonna say?
Like you mean like setting goals and somebody's like, I'm gonna do this, and then they're like, actually I'm gonna do less. Is that what you mean?
So it's like let's say you were a kid and you were in a spelling bee. I was in a spelling bee one time. Maybe this is mine. Who knows? And you spelled the word wrong in front of everybody, and then they all laughed at you. So then you said, "I'm never going to put myself out there to this degree. I'm never going to do something that's bold where I am in a competition or whatever it is." So then throughout your whole life, you've been like playing it safe,
Avoiding those
not,
things.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Because that's a decision you made. You said, I'm not going to do that anymore, right? It's not like a mindset thing. It's just you decided and you never went back and undecided you nullified it, which is, you say, hey, that's not relevant anymore.
Yeah.
I'm going to cancel that out and put in a new decision now of how I'm going to operate. Most people don't do that. And I did that with a lady recently, just on a random like free coaching call that I did on a group and starts crying, like has a whole revelation. It's really simple. You don't have to do complicated things to work on your mind. And that was her block. So I'm like, okay, cool. So sweet, we get aggression up. That's a block that people have. They aren't aggressive. They're worried about offending, hurting people's feelings, getting hung up on, um, getting fired, whatever it is, or hurting their reputation, like they have one, right? As though they had a reputation to hurt. Um, and then that's one main block. Another block is fear, you know, um, and a lot of the fear comes from all your bad karma, right?
Yeah.
Because it's you do things that you shouldn't do or you don't do what you should do. So that's procrastination. That's getting in your own way. That's making promises you don't keep. And that's also being rude on sales calls, not being attentive. It could be whenever somebody's upset, you don't help them out when they're upset, and rather you let them continue to be upset. Oh, and you say, fuck them. That's their problem. Right? It could be any number of things, right? Um, and in operating, they become fearful because they continue doing things they shouldn't be doing. They become guilty. They become lots of self doubt. People who always do what they should do, or do it, let's say 95% of the time, they don't have doubt.
No.
So we can actually clear up all those times from the past that are bugging you and causing you to have bad karma inflowing right now and causing you to have issues and weighing you down. And if there's an area of your life that's stressing you, it's probably because there's some bad karma there. We can clear it up. And then those areas start to go better. And then you start to realize because you doing something harmful, you're not being yourself. As a spiritual being, you're inherently good. So if you did something that you shouldn't have done, you had to not be being yourself. So we can actually find out how you were being someone else. You are being something else that's not you. And then the main thing of the program is to be more yourself, which is cheerful, friendly. I was about to say that scout, the 12 points of scouting. Cheerful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent, right? It starts with trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent. And those, I also know the Greek alphabet. I don't know if that's useful, but I learned that in my fraternity. Um, so, but like things like this, when someone is acting how they should be and how they want to, they aren't so much bothered. When people do harmful things to them, they don't care. It doesn't bother them, right? You can only really be bothered by something you did or that you didn't do. So all the things, that long list of things that you did that you shouldn't have done, or that long list of things that you didn't do that you should have done, that's what bothers you,
Yeah.
right? And then that's what gets you in your head. You'll be in the middle of procrastinating, and then you'll start worrying, and then you'll start thinking, then you'll start overthinking, and you'll say, how do I get myself to work? And then it becomes this big problem, then it snowballs. We can actually just kind of clear all that junk out, set you back to zero, and then get you working again. And
Yeah.
then the only other thing that keeps you from doing your job, and it's what caused you to commit the harmful acts in the first place, is there must be some misunderstanding you have about your job because you have to misunderstand something about it to not do it. And then you feel bad that you don't do it. And then you want to get a new sales role because you ruined this one, right? It's like, oh, yeah, I screwed up this relationship. Let me find a new girlfriend because I ruined this one too bad. I can't repair it. Well, actually, you can. You can make it
Yeah.
go really well, right? you can make it go super well. And if you find it's usually a misunderstood word, right? Everything after a misunderstood word goes blank. I don't know, Luke, if you've ever read a book.
I read all the books.
Okay. But have you ever read a book? No. But when you're reading the book, everything's going good. You understand it. All the words are wording, and then all of a sudden, it's not wording anymore. You're looking at the words. You're like, I've
Yeah.
seen these words before, but I don't get it. What's the book saying? And people say, oh, I just need to come back to the book later. They set it down and they get away from it. That's what people do with their sales roles. Something goes fuzzy, they get unclear, and they run away from it. And they don't do their job,
Yeah.
right? So what happened was you had a understood word, a word you didn't fully understand. It could be and or the. I didn't understand. I couldn't explain to you what or meant. I know what it means now. It's denoting the differences between two things, right? It's either this or that, right? Before, like, I would get stuck on it, right? And I it's as simple as that. Everything after a misunderstood word goes blank. If you've ever watched a video course, Luke, and you're watching a video and you're like, man, I gotta watch this again to digest it. I gotta watch this again. I didn't
Yeah, and it was
first.
good. It was good for like so long, and
Yes.
I've been watching it for too long, and I've been reading for too long. It's neat that you say that because um, I can now I take a different approach. If I come up to a word that I don't understand, because that's usually what it is, right? But you just kind of, oh, I'm just gonna go keep reading,
Yeah, hopefully things go well, right?
right? Like I don't know what this word means, influence or whatever, but if you look the word up in the dictionary and then you understand it, and then you go back, it's like now you can keep reading. That's just a habit that
Got it.
I, I've done.
That you nailed it. That's exactly right.
Just took
See,
it.
and that's why you're successful. It's because you understand what you're reading and you can apply it. The reason why salespeople get stuck in sales is they can't apply what they're doing. So
Yep.
they misunderstand it. It gets fuzzy. And
Yep.
then they procrastinate because they're like, I don't know what this is. Let's say this is the thing. I don't know what this is. I want to get away from it. You want to get away from the book that you don't understand. You want to get away from the course you don't understand.
Yeah.
So you say, I want to get away from it. And then they commit harmful actions against it because they're separate from it. So it's okay to procrastinate. It's okay to not do the dials. And it's
See
just
that so
because
much.
Yes, it's just because of a misunderstood word. So I've built my program. We get all the harmful stuff that you've done off, make you feel better. We go uh, clear all the words, and once you're clear on all the words and have a really good concept, anybody good concept of sales can sell. But anybody who has a trouble understanding the concept of sales cannot sell. So if we go back, we clear up the wrongdoing, we clear up all the things that you shouldn't have been doing, all the stuff that's bogging you down and causing you all the emotional trouble. And then we define all the words around your job, then you'll finally be able to do your job easily. It will be a very easy, smooth thing. You wake up in the morning, do your dials, call the people, text them, DM them, whatever you do, and money can be made easily. And then we work on things like what are the attitudes and behaviors of winners, right? And I'm going to document all that. And
That is actually neat when you say that because like a lot of people that I notice over the years that are struggling with sales, it's like it's no different than anything. There's like success leaves clues, right? And like
yeah,
you just follow it and you do it. It's like they're like, I'm making 100 calls a day. I'm like, well, then you're doing it wrong. Like, what are you doing?
yeah, there's something you're missing, right? There's
Like
something that's left out.
yeah. Like, are you not filtering through the leads properly or differently? Like if you're
Are you
just
just calling all the leads that died recently?
yeah, or that are just general and they didn't, like, I don't know. Um, yeah, so it is really common, I think, to see because people see success and they think that like they see the end result. It's no different than anything, even going back to games, fighting, you see these people that are doing really well, and then you start to emulate what they're doing, but it's like, no, you're missing the part. They're showing you stuff to make fantastic reels. Sales guys are showing you cool, fun tricks, but their sales fundamental principles that they do on all their calls
Yeah,
is what makes them successful.
they get the
Not just
concept of sales, so that's why they can succeed at it.
yeah. Yeah.
What is it? Phil Jackson? What's he do at the? I think that he's football, right? Phil Jackson.
Oh, yeah, maybe. Wasn't he
I
basketball?
I think it's he's at the beginning of every season. He holds up a football and he says, "This is a football." right? It's the fundamentals that are important, right? As simple as that. Like, meaning you define the word sales. Do you
Yeah.
actually know what a sale is, right? And then how is it what's a closed won sale? How is it defined in your company? It should be an agreement signed and cash collected, right? That would be a very good way to know that you closed a deal. How can you tell that it was closed? I hear people, oh yeah, I got deals coming out. That doesn't matter. Those aren't relevant in your data and statistics. They don't
Nope.
mean anything.
Dude, I track everything. Like one thing I don't track is probably the amount of calls like in my regular business, but I do track my leads. I track all my sales, like
Mhm.
everything. And I know, and it's kind of crazy because from June till September, I did like 800 grand in sales, um, which is terrible. Um, I did September to date, 6 weeks. I did 1.8. I got serious. Went back to it. I was like, I gotta level this up a bit.
Yeah,
But
right.
it was but it
What's
was a
your average?
what's that?
What's your average deal size in what you do?
It's probably like if I really went like average, it's probably about 75 grand.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I was like shaking my head, like those are good numbers, but I'm thinking of like somebody selling like a 5, 10 grand thing, right?
Yeah. Um,
So,
and now I do a lot of sales that are like a couple grand, right? Like people are ordering 20 ounces. So 20 ounces today is like, 15, 1600 bucks, right? So that's like
um, silver?
silver. Yeah.
Yeah,
You have gold, it would be a lot more. We do a lot.
absolutely.
But a big thing that we do is registered accounts. So like in Canada, RSPs, LIF, LIRA, TFSA, that would be like the equivalent of 401k or a IRA for you guys. And
Yeah.
so we can take those programs, transfer them from the bank or the other institutions to a new trust company, open the equivalent account, request the funds, and then when the funds arrive, we buy physical silver with them, stored in a vault. So now I'm doing like 250, 300, 500, $1,000 transactions because they're moving their
That's smart.
big parts of their portfolio over. A lot of people don't know it exists. And so, but that's again where the education comes from, teaching people doing that stuff. And so it's like, yeah, I really, I do. I try to aim for, like this year, I was like, okay, I want to do 3 times what I did last year. And I was like, doubling will be easy. So I'm aiming for 3 times because a bulk of
Are
my
you on track for it?
What's that? Well, bulk of my sales last year was in the last quarter. Like
Uh-huh.
half the year was in the last quarter. So my brain's like, well, if I keep that going, I should be able to 3x it. No, well, of course I'm not anywhere near it. I did only 800,000 in 4 months. So I'm like way behind. But I did look and I'm like, I beat last year already. So I've got, 10 weeks left of the year. So I'm like, okay, it's time to really level this up for the fall or like the last quarter. And so my goal is to at least double it still. And I think I could do it. Like I really truly do with what I've got kind of coming in my pipeline and the people that I'm talking to and the leads that are coming in is just it's been really good. So yeah, as long as I keep helping Canadians mostly, right? It'll be good. We do American stuff, but it's just the content's different. It's a different audience. I have a lot. My clients are all Canadian, so
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
That's pretty cool, man. I think that's
Yeah.
very cool.
Yeah.
Sick.
So John, where can people find you if they're listening?
Not at my house,
Yeah, good. Yeah.
preferably. But maybe out and about. If you find me out and about, that would be
Yeah.
fun.
Shout. Where
Right.
can they find you online?
Yeah, yeah. Oh, online. Okay, got it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, well, my Facebook is the easiest way to get a hold of me.
Yeah.
If you are a sales rep, if you have a team, I'd like to talk to your sales reps. And if you're a business owner, I'd like to talk to you. And if you're a sales rep, I'd like to talk to you because those are the people I help,
Yeah.
right? Uh, yeah, I don't work with anybody else, just sales reps and business owners. And you can find me on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Twitter. I'm on LinkedIn. I'll be on
All under
YouTube
your
soon.
name.
Yeah, if you look up John Schuette on Facebook, that's going to be the easiest way to get a hold of me because that's where I answer first. Just let me know that you watch this. And I got a whole system if you want to learn how to manage your sales and like learn to manage yourself. You can take the data that's inside of your business or inside of the business you sell in and plug it into this thing I call self management system and allows you to day by day know exactly what your numbers need to be. It'll show your pace. So if you're not on pace, let's say you're 30% through the month, but you're only at 26% of your goal for the month, then that would mean you're behind pace. You're probably like, I don't know, 75, 80% of pace. So it'd show red. And you always want to get yourself in the green, right? So anything 100% or above is green, right? That's on pace. And then it has a whole breakdown where you can plan ahead. Like if you want to hit a certain number of income 3 or 4 months from now, you can reverse engineer it and you can actually start doing your leading indicator KPIs, the dials and the follow ups and all that now. So that way, 3 months from now, you'll probably surpass your goal. And it allows you to actually manage yourself to hit any kind of sales goal you want. You have all the data. And that way, and then you can also tweak it. If I increase show rate by like 2%, increase close rate by 5%, and you can play around with the numbers to see if I just make slight incremental improvements every month, and then it's set up to where your income increases by 10% month over month, then this is what my income will be across the year. And if I just slowly increase my conversion statistics, instead of thinking of a 30-day time span, maybe you can think in terms of 12 months, because where people usually get stuck is they have really short time horizons. Like I have a guy who just joined my program. He's like worried about every single day. Oh my God, this day didn't go well. And then he takes that into the next day. Where I'm like, if you think about like a month or a year, that day doesn't really matter, right? When you play on longer term time horizons. So this allows you to expand your time horizons. So if you send me a DM on Facebook with hashtag self management, I'll send you that. If you want to work on your mindset and you don't want to pay me money and you want to be selfish, like some douchebag, I got a free course called Balls on Calls. It has some stuff in there for procrastination and confidence. The confidence stuff is really good. So it'll help you be more confident on calls. But the main issue is cleaning up the bad karma. Your confidence will continue to either go up and down, or go slowly down over time until you actually start cleaning that up and know exactly what you should be doing and understand your job. So if you want to work with me, drop a hashtag MMA in my DMs throughout the free course, Balls on Calls. That's for douchebags. And if you want to work with me, then that's hashtag MMA. So that's 3 call to actions. Is that enough?
Yeah, man, that's
Usually you
great.
should do one, right? But I got all kinds of free resources for you guys. So whatever you need help with, at every level of sales, if you're brand new or running a company, um, there's something I can give you that'll help or harm you. I probably can also send you stuff that harms you. You just let me know which one you prefer.
Yeah.
And you get to pick.
Man, thanks a lot. I actually really like what you're talking about with that self-management tool. I have a friend of mine that built one centered around construction, right?
Yeah.
So same idea, like I'm assuming because he would put, you'd put in your target for the year. You'd put in your close rate, you'd put in all of this kind of stuff if you had that data, and if you didn't have that data, he helped you figure it out.
Hmm.
But then you could start to play with like, yeah, if you wanted to, make $4 million next year, you would need to make X amount of phone calls because, calls lead to estimates, lead to,
Yeah.
you know, and it was all figured out. And I thought that was really good because I think a lot of people don't realize like how much effort they really need to spend to reach their goals. It's like going,
Just understand, John.
right? You're like, well, I went to the gym one day. I should be in shape. It's like, dude,
Yeah.
put in some serious reps to get there. Just like, yeah, if you're depending on what the leads are that you're phoning, you might need to phone more of those leads to get to your goals because the sales target is, the price point is lower or whatever else, right? So
Exactly. So you nailed it. That's exactly right. So you can calculate anything. If you wanted to lose weight, you could calculate how many too fats am I right now, and then how many less fats do I want to be, and then you can figure out how many calories per day you need to burn over the next 6 months to hit your target. Right? It's extremely simple when you
yeah,
break everything down with numbers. Right? And then
people confuse things with emotion. It's just
yeah,
numbers. Yeah. John, I really appreciate you, bro. I'm glad you came on the show. And thank you for sharing so much good tips with the audience. Thanks, bro.
yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
When a system shakes, paper wealth disappears overnight. But real wealth, it doesn't flinch. Gold and silver have outlasted every currency ever printed. The question isn't if this next storm comes, It's what will you do when it does. Visit learnwealthcycles.com. You too can own what's real.